Hello, Antiochian men. This is Michael Bucklig once again, and I have another episode in our Ask Father Hans series. Good morning, Father Hans.
Good morning, Michael.
Here's our next question. I have a teenage son who is starting to get mixed up in the wrong crowd. The more I confront him about it and try to stop him from associating with these bad influences, the more he tries to do it. What can I do to help him see that the people he is spending time with are having a negative impact on his life?
Well, it's a really good question, and I've encountered this before. Let me lay something out. Okay, what's the difference between a person who we've got two guys. One guy in the end ends up succeeding. The other guy ends up falling off the cliff. Okay, he runs with the friends. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, the whole 9 yards. He gets lost for 3 or 4 years, and then finally he gets sick of living among the swine, and he starts his return home. All right, what's the difference between the two? Years ago, the Search Institute, and this was an organization in Minneapolis, Minnesota, actually asked this question and went looking for empirical data. And this is what they've discovered. That the person who avoided falling off the cliff, the young person, had these things in their life. They had a religious grounding, they had friends with the same values, and most importantly, they had an adult in their life in addition to their parents. Sometimes the son will not listen to the father. And you wish it wasn't this way, but it is this way, because sometimes the son, depending on his makeup, and the daughter too, will push against the parent in an attempt to determine their own self-identity. So even though it causes great friction in the family, there's something true and authentic about it at the same time. And you don't want to crush their spirit. Now, if there's another adult that the person trusts, that adult can tell that person, the child, this exact same thing that the father or mother is telling them, and the child will listen to the other adult because it's a safe person. So even though sometimes this rebellion against the parent exists, you can circumvent that by calling in somebody else in their life to speak to them. When I began all this many years ago, I began as a youth worker. And my wife and I, we built up a youth program. And it's actually worked very well, and it flourished, and it's still going. The parents would call me up sometimes. The kids never knew, I never told them this, that the parents would call me up. But they say, I'm having trouble with so-and-so. I say, what's the problem? And they would tell me, say, can you talk to them? Lots of times, what happened is they would listen to me. Right? And I would tell them the exact same thing that their parents were telling them, and their behavior would change. So, you know what this really is, Michael? It's what the old extended family was. And we don't have that, especially in America, because and it's not a good thing, but it is the way it is, right? It's because we're a big country, and we're located here and there, and we don't live in the same village and all of that. So basically, what I was doing was acting like an uncle, somebody in the family, right? And this, I would suggest, is a good way of approaching these problems, because, the child, unless he's a complete psychopath, and most of them aren't, 0.000.1 or 0.001, whatever it is, right? Might be, but our kids aren't. Okay, they're kids, and they're confused, and it's a crazy culture and all that. But this is a way of resolving that problem that works a whole lot of the time.